Hey folks, and welcome to the Pipnotic Symposium for the 22nd of October 2019. Today I'm going to do these a little differently, where I've done my whole analysis now and I'm just going to show you my positions because I think this will maybe be a little bit quicker. So instead of having 45 minutes, hopefully we'll have less. Okay, so this is on the Euro US dollar. We're on the daily chart. We had this superior push deep into this monthly supply here, really big strong push, and it originated from these green candles here. So the slingshot was pulled back to here, and then it was released. And then we had this area of demand, which was the one that was formed, and this little slingshot pullback here is the one that consumed it. So my entry is to sell short at the beginning of this area of supply, which removed it. The American dollar, Japanese yen, we had this area of demand here. We have a parent, a child. Price left here, rallied, moved higher. We bounced off the child. We came back down. We moved through the child. This is the area that did it. We tested that. We moved back down to the edge of this area of child demand. We tested it. We moved down. We rested on it, and then we cut through and we tested the edge of it almost, and then we left. And now we're approaching this this daily supply at a deeper level. Price did not, it only got to the wicks, it did not get to the thicket, to the volume of it, and so I'm expecting the price will have a bounce there and then we'll follow it down. Opposing demand is down here somewhere, but we have a 1, 2, maybe a 3, so we'll keep an eye on that and see how that goes. The British pound, American dollar, we had this area of demand. Price came to it, tested once, twice, and we moved higher, showing strength in this area. We moved down, we moved sideways. This area of supply consumed this demand, which we tested once. We left, distributed, and then cut through all of these levels. So this is, I like this one here because it took out this one, and this is the origin. This is the start of the green pushes that move through this 4-hour demand and eventually this daily demand, which we have down here. So my entry is here. My stop is 2 times the size of the supply. We have no demand in sight, so we'll just do a 1 to 3 or 4 for the time being, and we'll see how that goes. Dollar, Canadian dollar. Here we have this area of demand. Price rallied. We took out this. We tested it. We moved high into this area of supply. We moved sideways for a while. We dropped off. We pulled back the slingshot. We moved down almost through, and then price pierced this area here. Don't know if we're going to get back up here as the origin is up here somewhere, but I don't like putting my entry down here too close. We'll probably get a bounce at this area, but I don't know. But I'd rather be a little bit safe and move my entry further away from price. This area of supply, which is also responsible for taking out the demand, down here. This area, there's something in here that we can't see. Okay, tested. This area cut it out. This is the high, the pullback of price that moved through it. Aussie American dollar. Here we're seeing a lot of strength on behalf of the Aussie, which is nice. So we had this area of demand, which was tested once. Price rallied. We formed this weekly supply. We had this hourly demand within this weekly supply. Price tested the area, moved higher, moved down. We sat on the area and then we cut through it. This is the origin of the move. We're going to have 2 times the size of that, a little bit more in anticipation that price moves away. We also have this one here and this one here. So there are a couple of areas of supply marked off here that you could keep an eye on. Dollar, Swiss franc. We have this demand here, which is responsible for removing something that is located up here. Okay, if we take an average of the highs here, price tested it. We came up, we moved to this opposing supply, we came down, we distributed, accumulated short orders at the edge of the area, and then we cut through. We had a continuation pattern within. This is the origin of this move. Slingshot was pulled back to here. We're going deeper to the first supply, and our stop is going to be up here where we have a bit of protection. See if that works out. Here we have the Aussie Canadian dollar. So we had this area of supply, which is tested a couple of times. This area rallied, accumulated just below, and then cut away. I like this one because we had enormous push, enormous strength all the way up to through and beyond these areas here. So I think this is an interesting area to buy at. Aussie, Japanese yen. This area of supply was tested a couple of times. Price rallied, accumulated. We moved. we had this pin through it, but the origin of the move that managed to trade through it is here. This accumulation, this 4-hour demand, and this is where our entry will be. Aussie Swiss franc. So we had this area of hourly demand tested, consumed. The area that removed it is this one here. This is actually 4-hour demand here that was tested once, twice, and this is the area that removed it. So this is where we have our entry to sell. Also, you can see that when we have a low, we have a low here, we have a higher low here. I don't want to be selling here. I want to be selling at least the high of the area that tested, and so we're selling at the highs, okay, a little bit further north than the highs, in anticipation that price maybe has a bounce. Then we managed to move down at least for a little bit in order for us to catch a little profit. So that's what we have there on the Aussie Swiss franc. Dollar, Singaporean dollar, we have this nice push up into weekly supply. Price moved through it. We did not trade beyond it. So here we have the child, we have kind of the origin of the mood. So price moved down, rallied, accumulated for 2 weeks, and then moved north. I'm not going to take this one here. We're going to take the parent, which is lower. Pretty nice small trade for the weekly chart. So we'll see what happens there. And our target is this area of demand, which has now been removed by supply. And we'll see how that works out there. We have the Kiwi American dollar. We have this area of demand, which was tested a few times, and it was removed. We have this area of supply, which was tested also a few times, and it was removed by this area of demand. So we'll see if price manages to come back down here and have a bounce. I'm not keen on this position because it's a little bit messy, but I'm going to keep an eye on it and see what happens there. We have the CAD, Japanese yen. Price moved away from here. We moved beyond all of these micro supply here. We came down to the area, we moved down, we have the 4-hour supply, which cut through it. We tested it a few times, then the origin of the move that moved beyond here. Looks around here. Another one I'm not too keen about. I'd rather do something like that, which I very well may do, because I just like, I'm going to do it. I just like this one better because this is just too messy. There's a lot of trading in here. There's no trading here. Price came down here before. We had a huge push, so another test of that area will probably work out quite nicely. Also, when price left here, we managed to move through all of this resistance that you can see price has had here, as you can see. Okay, and then price left through here and never looked back. So I like that area better. Euro, Japanese yen. So we had something in here, tested for a while. I hate these big wick bars, they look terribly ugly. So price tested that a few times. This one came down close to the air to this child. We moved sideways, we gapped down. That tells us that we have people are not willing to sell at this. They're willing to sell at lower prices. This is why we have this gap. Price closed the gap, and we left. So I'm thinking if price manages to come up to this area again, we're going to see sellers re-enter the market. Kiwi, Swiss franc. We have this area of parent-child supply, which was tested a couple of times. Now price is looking to eat through it. I'm early with this one, but I'm hoping that price moves through that and then comes down to this area here for a buy. You can also see that we are, if you look here, we have a bit of an ugly price structure here, have a lot of them kind of moving around, but we have this decent continuation pattern here that I'm expecting price to have a bit of a bounce at. It's not a super pretty one, but it's worth to have a look at. You might even want to do something like this, where you move the entry down to the low of the wick, because this is where the slingshot was pulled back to. So we have something like that. So we'll keep an eye on that, see what happens. This is a 63.10 area. Then we have the Euro Norwegian Krona. No supply formed yet on the significant. This is the hourly chart. We have no supply because we have no demand that has been consumed yet. Okay, we have micro supply and demand on the 50-minute chart. I think we had something where we had It's pretty unclear still. What we had, what do we have? So we have something in here. This is gone. Tested once. The area that did it is up here. So we have this 4-hour potential supply. We don't have 4-hour demand that was consumed by this supply, and so we do have. Currently, I'm waiting. I won't do anything yet until price shows me what it's going to do. I want price to move through here with strength. This could be the one that does that. If you look here at the 1021.31, if you look here, we do have parent child, so you could do something like that 2 times and go like that and take the high of the deepest retracement and oops, and see if come on, stop screwing around, see if that'll work. Yes. Oh, come on, move that out of the way. There we are. So we have that there. So maybe price will do something from around here, but like I said, there's no demand that's been consumed, so I'm not doing anything. I have to wait for confirmation. Good, well that's about it. We're at 11 minutes. That's amazing. That's a lot faster than before. Let me know if you think these videos are more beneficial. I certainly like them when they're a lot faster like this, but we have a few trades we can keep an eye on. Have any questions, please post them in the forum or in the YouTube comments. And if you like what you see, please subscribe to my channel. You will get updates, of course, every time I post a video. Thanks for watching.